FlossTube! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin and this is my channel, Lady Robins. I am really happy that you're all here. If you're a new friend and possibly subscriber, welcome. I'm really happy to have you here. And if you're a returning friend and subscriber, welcome back. I'm just as happy to have you here. This is FlossTube, for those of you that might not know, where I talk about all of my cross stitching and my love of things stitchy related. It is quite a day today. It is February 22nd, 2022. So if you string that all together the way we do here in the States, 2-22-22. Lots of twos today. I thought that was interesting. Somebody had pointed that out on Instagram earlier and I was like, wow, that's not going to happen again for quite a long time. So anyway, I don't know why that just sparked interest in me, but anyway, if you're here, I want to welcome you. Make sure you're all nice and comfortable. Get a beverage. We're going to talk about cross stitching. This probably won't be a super long video because I did not have as much stitching time this week as normal, but that's okay. We'll talk about what I've got and then we'll make plans and go from there, right? So if you are brand new here, I wanted to also let you know I am over on Instagram as well. It's the same name, Lady Robin, so you can follow me on 2 social media platforms if you want to. Okay, so let's sit back, let's take a breath, let's grab a beverage. I've got mine, and as we know, I always start with a mug of the day. These are the discontinued Starbucks You Are Here mugs. And this one seemed very appropriate. All that snow and those nice blue colors, which I love. It is cold here in Seattle today. Our high is going to be 39 degrees. I went and walked the dog at lunchtime with my husband and it was 36 out. So we are not going to be very toasty warm here outside. So we'll have to do it with coffee inside because that's what I've got in my mug. I've got a little brewed coffee. So let's have a beverage. Perfect. Yep, perfect. All right. So I thought I would just start. I had talked a couple of weeks ago about how I was going to go out to the cabin for the weekend, and we did that and had a great time. My husband laughed at me because we were only there for a little less than 48 hours and I took 5 cross stitch pieces with me. I worked on 3 of them. So I felt like that was pretty good. You always have to have extras, right? You've got to have as many choices as possible. So that was maybe a little over the top, but that's okay. Like I said, I worked on 3 out of the 5, so I'm counting that as a big fat win. But I don't know if you clicked over on my Instagram last week, but there are otters in the lake and they keep posting pictures. They have a Facebook page for the lake. And so people that live around the lake or have property around the lake will post pictures of what's going on. And I keep seeing pictures of these otters on people's docks. And when we were there on Saturday, they were off to the left. And so we could see 2 for sure. There were 2, one would surface and then the other one would go down. And it was far enough apart that you knew it wasn't the same otter just coming up in a different spot. There were definitely 2, but I couldn't spot the 3rd. And then a little bit later on, we saw some kind of off the point, or we saw something off the point, and my husband said, I bet that's the 3rd one. So we're claiming we saw all 3, although really I think we cheated and we just saw 2. But what was super fun was on Sunday, my girlfriend Diane drove through the area and she stopped in and I was telling her about these otters that we'd seen in the water and she was just like, we've got to see them. So we looked and looked and looked. We could not find an otter. And you know what happened after that? 20 minutes after she left, we were eating lunch, my husband and I looked out the window and I'm like, Rob, Rob, grab the camera. There's an otter on our dock. Not just swimming by, the darn thing was on the dock, and he was just, he or she, I guess it could, you know, be either one, right? Was just, they flipping upside down, rubbing its back, and then it was sunning itself. Oh my gosh, it was so cute. And then we stopped. My husband had his camera out, and so he was filming this otter doing its thing on the dock. And then before you know it, he just stretched out and fell asleep for a while, then woke up and then kind of came down the dock a little bit. It was so fun to see that otter up on our dock. And then eventually, you know, bloop, off the end, and off it swam away. But I thought I would insert just a couple of pictures of the otter that was on our dock. So I'm going to put them in right here. Okay, wasn't that fun? That otter was just all over the place, and it was huge. We think with tail, it might have been 3.5, maybe 4 feet long. It was big. It looked really big to us. So anyway, that's the update on being out at the cabin not last weekend, but the weekend before. So that was a lot of fun. Okay, so why don't I get into what I stitched on this week? It was, like I said, it was a really minimal stitching this week, but I'll just show you what I did. So we'll do that. Okay, so the first thing that I did was I did have a start on my red bird sampler by Brenda Gervais, who is With Thy Needle and Thread. So let me show you where I got to. And I just got the first little flower and the first little bird completed, and I'm working on the second bird. So that's where I got to. So if you're looking at the chart, I completed this part, that, and then I'm working on this kind of big center bird. But I wanted to tell you again about the correction that Brenda has put up for this chart. So I finally found my printout. Well, I finally found it again online and printed it out a second time, because I don't know where the original printout is, but it's down in this area. And so because she's got it online, I'm just going to show it to you. So next to that house, she forgot to change the color to that orangey red color. So this is your correction. If you want to screenshot it, feel free. Okay, did you get it? If you needed it? All right. I had a dickens of a time finding this correction. So I also wanted to tell you where you can find it if you want to print it out and put it in your pattern like I've done. It turns out I thought it was on her website, which it's not. From her website, I went to her blog and thought, well, maybe it's on the blog. It's not. It turns out it is on her Facebook page. And let me just look down at my notes so I get the name of the Facebook page right. So it is on the Facebook page, and the Facebook page is called With Thy Needle and Thread. So the name of her company. So if you need it, it was the very first post. I don't know if she's pinned it, but when I was on her Facebook page, it was the very first post. So I was able to easily click on it and then print it out. So that's where you find that correction on that Redbird sampler. Don't forget, we are using a hashtag. It's hashtag Red Robin Sal 2022, and I'll try to put the hashtag down below for you. Robin is spelled like my first name, R-O-B-Y-N, so feel free to use that hashtag so I can see all your progress. I'm hoping to get a lot more work done on this sampler this week. And I'm considering cheating on WhipGo. I'm just going to tell you right now. I haven't started my second piece for WhipGo, and I am seriously considering switching what my second WhipGo goal is. It's supposed to be stitching book clubs. Which one? Little Women. That's what it is. It's supposed to be Little Women, and I am seriously considering putting Redbird Sampler as my second WhipGo piece so I could get 5 days of work on this guy, because I really, even though I only stitched a little bit, I am having a complete blast working on this. I'm using all the called for threads. I'm stitching it 2 over 2, and this is 32 count desert sand. I think that's what it is. I do put that all in the show notes down below if you're curious what I'm working on, because it is kind of a darker, you know, a much darker fabric than the model was stitched on, but I like it. So, and all my colors pop, so I'm good with it. Okay, so speaking of WhipGo, my first goal was Quaker Turtle. And I'll just show you the chart here. So this, excuse me, this is Quaker Turtle, and it's by AuryTM, and I'm stitching this again on 32 count, 2 over 2, and I am using DMC, what is it, 3808. You see that? 3808. And I got quite a bit done on this. So what I'm trying to finish is the head. And so I've got the interior of the head done, and so I'm just doing kind of the little flowers around the outside. So you can see here on the chart. So I've got the interior of that done, and so I want to get I don't know, are they flowers? I guess they're flowers. They're whatever I guess I decide to call them, right? So I want to get those flower bits finished on the turtle. But I actually have completed my goal of stitching on it for 5 days. However, now that I've got it pulled out, my goal is really to finish the head Quaker. So I'm just gonna keep working on it, because I'm just having a blast working on it again. It is so fun to see progress while you're working on it. And I discovered a new TV show that I was watching while I was working on this. I'm watching, it's probably been out forever, but I'm watching The Gilded Age on HBO Max. Is that what it is? Anyway, I'm watching that, and the first episode was like an hour and a half long. I'm completely sucked in, so I'm hoping to sit down and watch a little of that tonight and stitch. It just seems like this past week, my parents, if you're new here, they live in assisted living, but that still means that my sister and I have to go and help with a number of things. And this week, it seemed like the number of things added up and added up and added up, so that even when I was home, I couldn't stitch because I was too tired from being over at their apartment. Saturday, my sister and I were there for 4.5 hours. Sunday we were Sunday we were there for 4.5 hours. Monday we were there for 5.5 hours. So, you know, what they need runs the gambit. Their apartment hadn't been cleaned to our satisfaction, so we were dealing with housekeeper, and then we had to deal with the assisted living manager, and blah blah blah. You know, the problem with people with dementia, and it's not their fault, don't take that as I'm blaming my parents. They don't remember things like if they took off an article of clothing, if they set it down on the bed, they don't remember that they just took it off and it's dirty and needs to go into the laundry. My mom folds it back up and puts it back in the dresser. And so on Sunday, what had us there for hours was we ended up having to go through their closet and their dressers, and we just pulled almost all of the clothing out and took it down to the laundry. I think we did 4 loads of laundry on Sunday and another 2 loads of laundry on Monday. Now, it's not their fault. They can't remember. They literally can't remember, what's clean and what's dirty. And so it's up to us, because as assisted living has pointed out to us, that's not part of what their gig is. They don't go through people's dresser, and it's not their fault if there's not clothes to wash because it's not in the dirty clothes hamper. So we just had to take it upon ourselves and blah, 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 do laundry and get it all sorted out back for them. But the housekeeping, that's on them. They don't get to blame. They don't get to blame the old people that the piano is a dust, right? They don't have a duster. That's on you guys. So anyway, enough of that nonsense. So that's what I've been dealing with recently, is just, trying to keep mom and dad moving forward. And speaking of moving forward, why don't we talk about the third thing that I did very little stitching on, but I did a little bit. I did stitch on my berry. I stitched on that berry one night for about half an hour before I fell asleep. But I got the bunny finished and he looks really super cute. So let's look at that. So here is my little tiny bunny. Can you see him? Got his ears on. So yeah, that's where I got to on the berries. And the crazy thing is, it's got the word hop on it, and I had pulled the floss for stitching hop, and it's supposed to be Bark by Gentle Arts, I think, or Gast. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. I've lost it. It's somewhere. I cannot find it. So that's what halted progress on my berries, is looking for the floss. I might just have to just find a DMC, or I was in the Color and Cotton Fabric of the Month or Floss of the Month Club. Just find a nice substitute and go from there, because I have looked and looked. I don't know where it's at. Maybe it's in the laundry at mom and dad's house. Anyway, so like I said, very little progress on that. The one thing though that I did get quite a bit of stitching on, I was able, I'm just grabbing it here. I was able to get to my 25/7 stitching this week, and if you've been here, you know it is the June Snowflower Diaries. I think I was able to stitch on this maybe 5 times. It wasn't 7. It wasn't the honest to goodness 7, but I got the bear done. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? So the bear is finished. So then I can just keep moving. And I think I'll start working on the bee skep, and I'll probably start on that later today. And once I've done my 25/7 on this, then I think I will either move back to the berry, because I'd sure like to finish that, get a little more progress on that, or move back to the Redbird sampler. There's so much good stitching. So what I probably am not going to stitch on is this, which is Little Women, but that's okay. That's all right. I get to make my own rules, right? Cross stitching is supposed to be fun, and it is. It's totally fun, right? But I'm just not feeling Little Women, and I definitely want to make progress on the Redbird sampler. So I think I'm just gonna make that switch on my go and keep working on what's given me joy. So we're gonna do that. Let's see here. Are you guys ready for market? Have you ordered stuff? What is driving you crazy and you can't wait to stitch on? I have my iPad here, and I don't know if this will work at all, but I thought I would give a try and show you some of the things that I want to stitch from market. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this. Let's see here. Okay, I don't have tons, but I thought this is by, I think it's Manani Di Donna. Ooh, I'm sure I said that completely wrong, but this is her stitching box, and I just think that looks fantastic. I've got the completed one there, so that is one of the items that I absolutely want to stitch. Is that right? Or is that by, yeah, it's by that designer. So that's one of the things that I would desperately love to stitch from market. The other thing that I am all over is Seasons of the Heart by Brenda Gervais of With Thy Needle and Thread. So there is autumn and winter, and let's see what it'll show. Yeah, and there is spring and summer. So I definitely want to stitch those. Let's see here. And then also by Brenda is this. I'm not much of a sampler stitcher, but this one I really like. And this is called Rejoice Evermore. So this is also on my list of things that I would really like to stitch, along with, also by Brenda, Keeper of the Pins. Look at that with all those cute tomatoes. Oh, I definitely want to stitch on that. So those are the things that I would dearly love to stitch. And then last but not least, I think, yeah, this one is by Little Creek Needleworks, and this kind of, you know, beachy sampler. I think that is so pretty. And this is a designer I'm not familiar with at all, but man, did I love it. The saying on this is, our memories of the ocean will linger on long after our footprints in the sand are gone. Yep, that's for me. Yep. So those are the few things that I'm kind of thinking will be purchases for me when all this is released after Needlework Market here in a couple of weeks. So tell me what you're dying to pick up from people after Nashville Needlework Market is over. Send me a comment. Let me know. See, I'd be interested if we have any similar tastes, or if there's things you're like, Robin, you gotta look at this. You're gonna love it. It's right up your alley. So, you know, send me recommendations. I'd be thrilled to have them. Okay, so the other thing I thought I'd tell you quickly is, of course, what am I reading? Well, I finally finished the second book in the Doldrums, The Helmsley Curse. Totally loved it. Once again, I thought those books were adorable, by Nicholas Gannon. So it is a kids chapter book, and even though I'm adult, I absolutely thought the story was great. The characterization of the three main kids in it was fantastic. It was absolutely everything. And Nicholas Gannon, as I raved before, did all the illustrations for his book. It was fantastic. So I've picked up a new mystery, and it's a contemporary mystery, so I thought I would share that with you. And it is called Deep Fire Rise, and it is by John, I think you'd pronounce it Gosch. It's Gosch. Now, this mystery is set here in kind of the Pacific Northwest, and it is around the Mount St. Helens area, and it is probably, well, Mount St. Helens erupted May 18th, 1980, and I think this is a little bit before the second eruption, which was in August of 1980. I don't remember the exact date, but cool fact, I was working at Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor at the South Center Mall. For anybody that's in this area, that probably all sounds really familiar. And when the mountain erupted, when Mount St. Helens erupted in August, we were inside Farrell's working, and they said the mountain is erupting, and you could see it in the parking lot. And we all ran outside into the parking lot, and we could see the ash plume from the South Center parking lot. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that. It was like, how many times do you get to see a volcano erupt? So anyway, this book is set in that time frame. There's, of course, it's a mystery. I'm assuming there's a murder somewhere, but I haven't gotten to that part. I'm only about 3 chapters in, but this is totally grabbed my attention. So, Deep Fire Rise, and then I'm about halfway in Fudge and Jury, one of my Ellie Alexander books. So that's what I'm reading right now, and I am still listening to by Fredrik Backman, My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. So I haven't finished that yet, but hopefully this week one of these will get finished. So that's where I'm at, you guys. I thank you for being here and being a member of my Stitchy tribe, and thank you for commenting and subscribing and liking and all those things. I hope you have a fantastic week. I am just going to stitch on the things that I showed you here in this video this upcoming week. I don't plan on starting anything. I don't think I'll finish anything, but if I do, that would be brilliant, right? Okay, you guys have a good week, and I will see you next week. Oh, and I should tell you, I do not know when my video is going to go up next week. My work schedule changes next week. So right now I have Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays off. Next schedule, I will work on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. So I will have midweek days of Wednesday and Thursday off. And for the first time in my life, I have weekends off. I have Saturdays and Sundays off. I have never had weekends off. I have always worked, in public facing customer service roles, and I'll usually have one of the weekend days off, but never both. And so I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself to have a weekend off like real people. So this is very, very exciting. Oh, you guys, and I forgot to tell you, I got the greatest Stitchy kindness from my friend Carla for my birthday. And Carla gave me a bag full of DMC. Yeah, full. You guys, there is a mountain of Stitchy goodness right here in my hands from my friend Carla. And Carla knows how old I turned. And so she gave me one floss for each birthday. So I might be older than you think. So Carla, thank you for the stitchy kindness. I am thrilled. And what's really great is a couple of flosses I was missing for kitting up with some charts are in here. So they've actually, so there's a few less because I already pulled some out. All right, you guys have a great stitching week, and I will see you next time. All right, stitch happy, my friends. Bye.